Good morning, everybody. My name is Maryssa, and I am the volunteer coordinator here at Carolina Tiger Rescue. And this morning, I get the privilege of talking to all of you about operant conditioning, or positive reinforcement-based training that we do with a number of our big cats. And today, I'll be demonstrating some training with these two lovely ladies. This is Mona, and Moki is already shifted into the other room on the left. We are going to try to get them swapped halfway through this, but we'll see how that goes. I know I don't typically get to join you for these live events, but don't worry, Katie is still here. She's just on the other side of the camera this morning.
Morning, guys.
And she will be back on this side of the screen for tomorrow's live with Bo. So just to tell you a little bit about operant conditioning and what we do, why we do it, and how we implement these training sessions with our animals. First, a little bit of background on what operant is. Like I said, it is a positive reinforcement-based training, similar to what you would use for your dog at home. Parents, it's similar to what you might use on your children at home as well. And a lot of times you'll see it done with a clicker. So the clicker is just a sound or a cue that we can use to indicate to the animal that they have done the behavior that we have asked them to do. I don't actually use a clicker, I use a whistle instead. And what these two items are called a bridge. And what a bridge does essentially is it bridges the gap between what we've asked them to do and the yes, you did it correctly. So it tells them this is the job well done and to return to us for a snack. And the reason that we do operant is actually a couple of different reasons. One is if we have any animals who need regular veterinary care, whether they need to step up on a scale for frequent weights, whether they need to get injections for some sort of medical treatment, those types of things. We can teach the animals to step up on a scale. We can teach them to open their mouths so we can look inside. We can teach them to let us look inside of their ears or give them eye drops or ear drops and those sorts of things. But also, when we rescue an animal, this is a whole new place for them, where they're potentially coming from the only place that they've ever lived, and a rescue from their perspective can be very scary at first. And so using operant to be able to build a relationship with the animals and to teach them that this new home is safe and that they can relax and be comfortable in their new home is really important to helping us build a relationship with the animals. And so there's a lot of different reasons that we would use operant. And for the Mo's here, Moki's rolling around over there. Despite how active and excited they seem about this morning's training session, I think it's mostly in part to the fact that I have 2 buckets of food over here. I would love to think that they're just super excited to see me, but I think it's mostly because they're super excited for what is in these buckets of food. But the Mo girls are not only our smallest tigers at just over 200 pounds each, but they are also our oldest tigers. They are going to be 22 years old this September, which is definitely on the geriatric side for tigers, because they generally live to be about 8 to 10 years old in the wild. Here, again, the Mo's are going to be 22. So I'm going to be working on a couple of different behaviors with each of them just to kind of show you different types of things that we do. Because the Mo girls are older, I'm only going to ask Mona to stand up on the fence, which is actually a great behavior to get a good look at their underbellies, because they are kind of low riders. So in order to see their underside, getting them to stand up on the fence is actually really good behavior to be able to take a look at their whole bodies. But because they are older, they do have a little bit of arthritis. I'm not going to be asking Moki for it, and I'm only going to ask Mona for it one time. So make sure no potty breaks if you want to see it, no popcorn breaks. If you miss it, you'll get to watch it later when we post this on our YouTube channel. But let's see a few different behaviors with Mona.
So guys, if you are able to donate, that is a couple people have already donated. We greatly appreciate it. We, of course, like most of the country, are in lockdown. And any donation is greatly appreciated and extremely helpful. So if you are able to donate, hello, Cindy, Carrie's aunt from New York. She's not here today. We decided to give her a weekend off, so at least this week. So, all right, Maryssa, when you're ready.
One more thing I want to point out is this very scientific piece of equipment right here. Yes, it is a tennis ball on the end of a wooden dowel, but it is also a target stick. And we can use a target stick to help teach the animals to focus in one specific area. This morning, I'm using it to teach Mona to open her mouth on cue. And so you'll see that. I'm gonna do a few behaviors with her, and then I'll come back to answer a few questions, and we'll try to get Moki switched. We'll see. All right, come on, Mo.
Good morning, Mother.
Hi. Down. Hold. All right, let's try this. Ready? I think she's nervous. You guys are all watching. Down. Hold. Hold. Good. Focus. Good girl. Stand. Good girl. Let's try that again, shall we? Good girl. There you go. Nicely done. All right, we're gonna try to get her to do up. We'll see how she does. Yesterday she seemed pretty excited about it, so we'll see how she does today. Ready? Yep, that's kind of how I thought it was gonna go. Mona, up. Oh, I know. Off. Good girl. You just want to lay down today. That works. Paw. We just want to do down today. All right, we'll do this one more time. That was an excellent one. So since she did so good on that last mouth open, I am going to give her something called a jackpot. And a jackpot is just basically raining meat treats from the sky. All the food as a thank you and a reward for doing that last mouth open so well. It's a pretty new behavior for her. So having her open her mouth that far, she's really stuck on lay down this morning. That's hilarious. She's not usually the one that gets stuck on down. That's definitely Moki's default behavior. All right. All done.
So, Maryssa, we had a question. Is the whistle like a clicker?
The whistle is exactly like a clicker. It's the bridge that I use because I feel like I'm not coordinated enough to use a clicker and still be able to use my hands. So I use the whistle to be able to tell them when they've done something correctly.
So
that's exactly right.
That whistle that you hear is actually Maryssa. It's not the tigers.
It's true.
It's Maryssa who is letting Mona know that she gave the behavior that Maryssa was asking for. If you are having trouble seeing us, just know that we're pretty far down into the sanctuary. We would love to boost our our whatever down here, but unfortunately can't. So just stick with us. We're going to see if we can't get the girls shifted.
Mona, come on over here. This is kind of how I thought this was going to be.
In the world of tigers, they do what they want. So
I'm going to try one more time.
See if we can't help her out here. Come on, Moki. Excellent. All right. Whoop, they just went back. Moki, come here.
It looks like we're going to be doing Moki's training session on this side. So she still gets a treat. She stayed here. She didn't get upset.
As Maryssa resets, we had a question of how much these two weigh.
Ooh, that's a great question. So, Mona and Moki weigh just over 200 pounds. Don't tell them I told you that. Moki was 207 and Mona was 202. Now this is not our normal spot for training. I'm pretty confident that Moki's gonna do just fine though. So one of the things that we work with her is injection training. So letting us look at her ears, having her hold still, and letting me kind of poke her shoulders with a treat stick that Katie is conveniently holding in her hand. So I'm gonna borrow that from her. Thank you, ma'am. We'll see how she does. I know, it's a new spot. Are you ready? Oh, that's right in the way, isn't it? Can we move that? Let's see. No? All right. Let's try this side. All about improv with the animals. Ready, Moke? Down. All the way. There you go. I know, it's a very new spot. Paw. I know. Paw. Thank you. That was nice. Thank you. All right. Down. Down. Poke. Good girl. So her letting me touch her shoulder with the stick. Mo's are both really good at that. We have a station which actually has the animal lay parallel to the fence instead of perpendicular like she tends to default to. And that gives us access to both of her shoulders, depending on which direction I have her lay, as well as her hips. Now that's important because Mona and Moki are definitely geriatric girls. I know, we default to that, okay? They're old ladies, and so if we need to renew one of their vaccinations, all of our big cats get FERCP, which is the same vaccination that your house cat would get. They also get vaccinated for rabies, and then our big cats also get vaccinated for distemper. And so if we need to update their vaccines, paw, paw, or she could ignore me, then we're able to do so voluntarily instead of having to risk sedation on geriatric animals, because anesthesia can actually be a little bit harsh on some of their internal organs, like their liver and their kidneys. And there you go. And so being able to do those things voluntarily is actually really important. It's really helpful for their long-term care. If they can voluntarily participate in their own vet care, step up onto a scale, get those vaccinations, and let us take a good look at their overall body condition. Down. There you go. Hold. Hold. Ears. Ears. Good girl. Hold. Ears. Ears. Now that ear behavior might seem a little strange, but a few years ago, Mona had an ear infection, and to be able to notice that ahead of time just allows us to be able to treat the animals more efficiently. And so if she were to choose to not participate in a behavior like letting me look at her ears when she normally does cooperate, then that could indicate to us that she's a little uncomfortable, and that's something we can relay to our animal care team and our vet staff to be able to keep an eye on that and monitor her health. I'm going to try down one more time and see if you guys have any questions about training. There we go.